we got to spend the day in Holland, and we went to some indie bookstores. We were kind of striking out at first and not really finding anything, and then we went to this bookstore that had all these like really cute displays. It had like a lot of pages, a lot of books, and these books that were cut up, I guess, and that was really cool to see. And we got to go to the beach, which has been really relaxing, and I've really enjoyed reading on the beach, so we got to do that for a little bit. We got to go to this book fair, which was really cool, which had a lot of authors and vendors and some fun stuff. And so I was able to get like a little books read sign for my shelf, and then I ended up getting a t-shirt and a tote bag that I got to make. But it was cool because they had lots of like blind date with the books and other stuff that was really cool to see. So as you can tell, I'm reading This Story Might Save Your Life. This is about two podcasts. Their podcast is telling stories of people who had near-death experiences, and so the audiobook I also had for this, which was really good. You're getting the story and it sounds like a podcast, which is really cool. And so one of the podcasters goes missing with her husband, and it's a mystery, and you're trying to figure out what happened to them. So this one was really interesting and had me hooked, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So this was literally insane and so packed, but we went to the Book Besties Book Fair, which they do different events around Michigan, and there was a lot of cool vendors and stuff there, though it was hard to find any of the vendors because it was so packed there, but I still was able to have fun and find a few things. So we went to Schuler, which has new and used books. I really like to use book shop because I like to save money. And so we got some reading fuel and then headed off to the used book section. You already know, if I go used book shopping, I gotta take you through what I got. So I'll take you through what I got at Schuler. Schuler, the location that isn't as close to us, has the best used book section I've ever seen at any used bookstore, especially indie. Pretty much as good as half price books, which is pretty crazy. Like they always have some really popular titles there. The ones I got, I wouldn't say are as popular, but a couple of them are authors I've heard of that have other popular books. But I did see like a lot of popular ones there. A lot of them I already had. Like they had The Correspondent there. They had, it was like Good Animal. Like they had some like really popular books that haven't even been out for super long either. So that was really cool. So the first one I got was Dad Camp. This one is by Evan S. Porter. The cover really drew me in on this one because like it is gorgeous, and so it's about a dad and his 11-year-old daughter, which is like an interesting father-daughter relationship, I feel like, at that age. And before he becomes a teenager, he takes her to camp. So he takes her to camp because she's kind of turning into that teenager of like she doesn't want a lot to do with her dad, so she's kind of like trying to like revitalize this relationship, because they used to be really close type of thing. And in his attempts, it's seeming to drive her further away. So I think it's kind of like cringy or embarrassing for her. So it's kind of driving her further away. And then it says that there's a group of toxic dads who can't seem to get along, cringeworthy forced bonding activities, and a camp director who has it out for him. With camp and summer breaks slipping away fast, John's determined to conquer it all for a chance to become Avery's hero again. And it's described as hilarious, heartwarming father-daughter story. So I think this is really cool. I would love like some like dad type humor, but also this kind of like coming of age and how relationships kind of shift as you get older just naturally. And so I don't know, the cover really drew me in and it sounded really interesting. So I'm really excited about this one and would like to get to it this summer, but I just don't know if that's going to happen because basically there's like 3 weeks left in the summer at this point, but I'm really excited about this one. Then also I got by Emma Straub This Time Tomorrow. So she has a newer book out that's really popular. I think it's American Fantasy, and it's about like some boy band or something, which isn't something that is intriguing me. And I saw a couple people didn't like it, but it's really popular at the same time. So I'm not planning on reading that one, but this one, This Time Tomorrow, sounded really, really good. So, on the eve of her 40th birthday, Alice's life isn't terrible. She likes her job, even if it isn't exactly the one she expected. She's happy with her apartment, her romantic status, and her independence, and she adores her lifelong best friend. But something is missing. Her father, the single parent who raised her, is ailing and out of reach. How did they get here so fast? Did she take too much for granted along the way? She wakes up the next morning. She finds herself back in 1996, reliving her 16th birthday. So she goes from almost 40 to 16. It isn't just her adolescent body that shocks her or seeing her high school crush. It's her dad, the vital, charming 49-year-old version of her father with whom she's reunited. Now armed with a new perspective on her own life and his, some past events take on a new meaning. Is there anything she would change if she could? I really like the idea of like, if you could go back and change things, would you, and what would be the implications of that? And so this kind of sounds a little bit like that, but also is just really hitting home for me of like, she's going back and kind of seeing her parent like when they were healthy and full of life, and just you kind of take those moments for granted. And I just really think that this one is going to be like really good and probably a tearjerker. But I'm excited for this, and the cover was gorgeous, so that's what drew me in. I think it's fun to go to used bookstores and kind of see what covers draw you, because a lot of times you're not seeing the most popular, most new books, but you're just kind of seeing what draws you in that moment. So I'm excited about this. There's quotes on the back from Ann Patchett and Emily Henry, so I'm really excited about that. And then last but not least, I only got 3, so I didn't get a ton, but I got Notes on Your Sudden Disappearance by Alison Espa. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because she wrote The Wedding People, which is a super popular book right now. So there were a couple books by her that were there, but this one sounded really interesting to me. So it's following Kathy and Sally, who are sisters, and also Billy, but it doesn't say in the back like how Billy is connected with them. And it says there's a tragedy that leaves Sally's life forever intertwined with his, opening in the early 90s and charting almost 2 decades of shared history and misconnections. It's a dazzlingly unconventional love story that brims with unexpected moments of joy. So somehow something happens that weaves these two together. So I really like The Wedding People. It wasn't like a wow, this changed my life kind of book, but I really enjoyed it. And so I'd like to explore this author more. And it's kind of fun to go to used bookstores and find used books, because it's like, oh, would I have picked this out and spent $20 on this? Not necessarily, but would I spend 9? Sure. So this is really exciting. So I'm excited about these new books I got. I need to stop buying books because I really don't have enough room for them, but I'm very excited about them nonetheless.